So if Ash Wednesday gave us a space to encounter our own mortality, this Sunday gives us the wilderness to transverse. And I can think of no greater and challenging expanse through which we are to travel through in this life than the wilderness of our own suffering. Temptation, pain, heartbreak, loss, sickness, disease, poverty, death. These meridians all fall within the landscape of human suffering. And for the most part, I've never really found a community where we could have an honest conversation about suffering, save for the ones where platitudes stick out like sore thumbs, or where another's suffering, right, is heaped upon our own because there is no place for theirs to go either. And yet, it is how we encounter suffering, how we encounter our own suffering, how we encounter Christ's suffering for us and with us, that ultimately shapes who we are and who we are becoming. You know, I think I'm depending a lot on topography here to drive home a metaphor. But there is something that you all should know about me, and that's that I've never really been that good at orienteering. I don't consider myself directionally challenged, but I don't know where I'd be without Google Maps. And so guides, therefore, are for me like precious instruments, treasured for their ability to help us navigate the really dark times. And when it comes time for us to encounter suffering, whether our own or whether those that we love, well, these guides especially who have transversed the terrain of grief, remain vital in determining the ways we ourselves can engage suffering and still maintain our sanity. The letter of 1 Peter, right? It bears witness first and foremost to a kind of communal suffering. These folks were oppressed, and they were coping with prejudice. So it bears witness also to their individual suffering and what to do about it. So this for us is an ancient guide that is left to us that models the way our ancestors in faith not only dealt with their own suffering, but with the suffering of their friends. And perhaps it is seeing suffering through the lens of friendship that we come to know just how much our friends have to teach us when we encounter suffering ourselves. I have a beloved friend who once said to me, "Nick, I believe in love. I believe in God. I'm just done believing in miracles." Her vulnerability in that moment was one of the bravest things I've seen. And her witness to the suffering of her beloved, well, that was one of the most authentic expressions of love that I've ever known. And it's this kind of love, you know, where like intimacy deepens, even though the physicality of change is present. Like his body wasn't doing what it was supposed to do anymore. But yet their love deepened. It changed. She taught me that there comes a point when witnessing the suffering of those that we love that something in that moment will break us, where words will fail, and where all we can hope to do is be present to their suffering. And it is only through God's help that we can bear the unbearable. In those moments, we often feel alone, as our eyes behold those we love with an intensity that would shoot straight through the heart of anything that would threaten them. But at the same time, with a helplessness whose only consolation is that we will be numbered among those who remain after their suffering ceases. And perhaps that is why suffering leaves such a void. I've heard it once said that the Christian gospel tells us more about the meaning of sin than it does suffering. To the why of suffering, we get no firm answer. Of course, some suffering is easily seen as a result of our sin: war, assault, poverty amidst plenty, and even at times the unkind word. But not all of it. The meaning and remainder of that suffering is not told to us. It eludes us. But there is more to suffering than our guilt. Like God, we suffer because we love. Suffering is down at the center of things, deep down where meaning is. Some might even say that suffering is the meaning of our world, for love is the meaning, and love suffers. The tears of God are the meaning of this world and its history. And yet, in the face of all of that, the good news remains. And the good news is that suffering will never have the last word. And I guess in some way, learning that is the way that we make our way through Lent, and the way we make it through our lives. And I love the first letter of Peter because it has something to say about encountering that history. And dare we move on without understanding its crucial perspective? And that is that we are part of a redemptive history that bears witness to us who remain in the wake of suffering through the pattern of the cross. We are joined to Jesus in our baptism to this end, and by means of absorbing what we must in this world, right? By taking it and then channeling it through Jesus. We come to know, whether we know it or not, that we arrive at the threshold of redemption through him. Redemption even in the face of death. For death is left for God's overcoming. Redemption is the means, and that, my friends, is Easter. No suffering may remain present, and I realize that this is kind of like a heavy sermon, right? The suffering remains. It's real. We're going to talk about real stuff here. The words of Jesus remain very true. Remember where he says in the Gospel of John, everything that the Father gives to me will come to me. And anyone who comes to me, I will never turn away. For I have come down from heaven not to do my own will, but the will of the one who sent me. And this is the will of the one who sent me, that I will lose nothing that is given to me, but I'll raise it up on the last day.